Wow.
There you go.
Right.
It all began
Hey, thank you.
when Jeff Wyman, who was a Bay Area artist, moved up into our area, and he connected with the fishing industry and got a big building down on the West Mooring Basin. And he came to me and he said, I need somebody local to help me lease this big building to have studios for artists. We're going to call it Columbia River Studios.
Just got here. We're in Astoria, Oregon. We're at the Performing Arts Center in the middle of Astoria from the fairgrounds in the Clatsop County Fairgrounds.
The Pacific Northwest in particular, because the people here are people with vision, they have imagination, and they know how to go with the flow, just like we did today.
So as I gather, we're going to Big Red, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, look at that. Listen.
I don't know. Haven't paid enough attention to know when it is that this happens. But the seagulls, there are 2 times a year that the seagulls spend a lot of time up on these crossbars, and you walk really slowly because you want them to be gone before you get under them. But there was one time when I came out, and normally they just fly off, but this one time they cascaded off like 2 giant white wings, and this batch went around the building, and then they joined.
How much space do they have for artists here?
Well, the first 2 floors have 10,000 square feet each, and the top, when it gets the roof back on, has another 5,000.
Okay,
so those are pretty. And, oh! Wait! Okay, back. Watch out for the hose so you don't trip. So here's Royal, right?
Uh-huh.
Here's this guy that's, he's right up there, right? He's about this tall. He's coming down. He's looking back. And I'm seeing him wondering how we're getting into this building, and he's bending over like this. And he goes, so you go through the rabbit hole, right?
Wonderland.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. I guess there's a size limit, height limit. Coming in. We'll put a better door in. Actually, this whole thing is a big freight door that we open up when we have to move big things, but it's hard for me. October at 4 o'clock, that sun's going to cut right under this building, and all these spots, it just shoots right through. And you can see it flickering now, but when it does that, it's a light show like you wouldn't believe.
This is what you talked about at the Performing Arts Center.
Yeah. It's so amazing. And the first time I saw it, I was wondering, where is that? Because it was bright. As I came down the stairs, I was wondering why it was so bright down here. Because there's only a few windows. There's tons of scrap and junk and stuff. And I think Royal, I can't remember how many truckloads of stuff he took out of this building. Look at these timbers. Look at these beams. I mean,
You don't see this anymore.
no. And nets and I believe the person who owned the building before Royal was concerned about keeping things supported, so he had someone living out here building these blocks.
Oh, I mean these blocks right here.
These 2x4s. Let's.
Look at that window there. Yeah.
Used to have glass in it.
Okay, that was the storm, eh?
That was part of the storm.
The storm just took it all out. Now you see sky.
Yeah. Now I don't know who brought the piano in.
Wow, piano.
Some keys do. If you pick that, you've got. You might have to lift them back up, or I think once the hammer hits, that's the end of it. One note.
Oh boy, one note piano, I guess.
Okay.
What do we got? Oh, here we go. Here's another. Look at that. Look how big that beam is. And it's held up, as you say, by those 2x4 that are stacked.
Yeah. Now I use some of those to hold up shelves so that I can lean paintings on them. They come in handy.
You're a painter then?
That's what I'm working at right now. I'm having a good time painting out here.
Oh. Very inspirational.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'm not sure what they brought up through here. But again, the Celadon thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is, you can come out here and you forget that anything else is behind you, well, except for the bridge, but basically the city's gone, and it's just water, and you can see the sea lions coming through, and steps. Royal's paintings are pretty big, so he actually had removed a section so one of the paintings had to, rather tricky to get through.
Coca-Cola is everywhere. Here and the rest of the world.
Okay. For the time being, some of what was salvaged from his studio.
Was this it right here?
That's not where his studio was. This is just the stuff that actually survived. All of this was on the 3rd floor where his studio was. And so we were able to grab some things. And he was able to save some of his books. He had a tremendous collection of books. So this is where Royal Studio was. He's had a lot of paintings stored here. At one time I was going to have my studio. My studio was going to be right there.
Where do you think?
My studio was going to be this space, right? Right?
Where the black tarpaulin is?
There. Out to the middle. So, follow me. So we were going to have 5 studios up here of 1,000 square feet. This is the center line, and so we were going to divide 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Royals was the back part.
Right over there.
So right at the end. And he really thought that was the wind was coming from the southwest, so he didn't expect it. Let's see, there's some bumps and lumps under these tarps in the middle, so watch out. We did put panels on the hole where the holes were.
Looks like it might be a tennis court up here too. Okay, well.
Israel had part of his music video was shot up here and then all through the building, so it was pretty neat.
And so it looks like if you keep on going, you're going to have to take a plunge into the river or the ocean, or.
And high dive.
High dive?
The river.
High dive. Is this the river or the ocean?
This is the river. The ocean is out there.
Okay.
We're looking north, so.
Okay, so we're at the edge.
And the thing is that anything, a plane crash, genocide, anything that comes into the news, into your awareness, is really like a poster child for what happens and never gets heard of. And while it's important to be concerned and caring and do what you can to help those individuals, it's also really, really important that you don't just dwell on that. You realize that's happening all over. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And to pray, to continue offering, to keep that in mind. And when something happens and it comes back around, I think that's to help us understand and remember, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in your own little world and everything's going fine, or oh, poor me, it's not going so fine. But it's good to know that everybody has such huge issues that they're dealing with, and at the same time there's wonderful, beautiful things happening. At the same time there's horrible, scary things happening. And it's all okay. It's what we do with what's before us. So here we are, and we're doing this right now, right?
And something very positive.
So, we walked out of Royal Studio.
Okay, there's the Royal Studio here.
This is Royal Studio here.
Oh, those are the front windows that she was saying that, hey, they look different.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, also, the thing about it is, even when everything was all together, you'd look at a picture of this building, and it would seem like this little tiny thing up here was just like a clear story or something, and that it really wasn't a place to walk, a floor or anything. And I was really surprised to see how huge this is. So this is 5,000 square feet.
5,000 square feet.
5,000 square feet. So there's plenty of room for studios. Lots of artists. Let them come.
And was it, a 10-foot ceiling or something like that? I mean, the whole
12 or 13 foot is sloping up. So, yeah.
160 mile an hour.
Open air studio. And the Tuesday after the storm, after Monday they got out, and then Tuesday we came out here to see what could be salvaged. And everybody worked late into the night, into the dark, and putting down tarps and plastic and layer of stuff. And we brought up all our lights from the studios below, and we had lights out here. And I was thinking, oh gosh, I wish we had a grand piano. And one of the artists that has some stuff stored here, he's a photographer, and when he has to do big things, he would come out. But now he's working on computers. But he's also a wonderful violinist. And I was saying, oh, come out and play music for us while we're doing this. I just thought it would be pretty neat to, in the dark, with these lights, and have a violin playing while we're hammering or something like that. Just seemed kind of, I don't know, I've got weird ideas, I guess. But I thought it would be cool. So when I saw Israel's Blind Pilots music video, and the three young women playing their violins up here, I was just, yes, it happened. I was
right
happy
after
about
the
that.
storm,
Well, no, that was more recently. That was the summer. But finally, we got some violins up on our open air concert hall.
Very open air.
Very open hall. Yeah.
Talk about that.
Thank you.
We have plans now. We've got a 501c3. We're getting our board together. We're going to try to get a foundation to support the building and support the artist studios. And we're going to, of course, seek grants, and that's pretty much where we're going with this right now. The history of this concert is also one of serendipity and really wonderful coincidence. I rented a space. I also, at the same time I got the building, I got a small old boathouse on the shore and renovated it into office space. And so one of my tenants there, and this building, of course, has been leased to try to support the large one. It's been giving money to the maintenance of the large one. And one of my tenants was Gordon Styler, and Gordon Styler was the DJ in the Bay Area in the 60s and 70s. So Gordon was connected. He had a friend in contact, Dave Hardy, who was exactly what we needed, a benefit concert organizer. He has done benefit concerts successfully with big name artists, and so it was really their combined influence and ability that brought this thing about. There were a number of beautiful serendipitous experiences, but the coincidental thing started to roll when Gordon contacted the original lead singer from the Jefferson Airplane that he had a relationship with and knew from the time past, and that's Signe Anderson Tolley, who lives in Portland. And Signe was really interested, and one of the reasons you could probably get the story from Signe. I don't know exactly the sequence here, but one of the reasons she became extremely interested in the project was that I think her sister-in-law brought a photograph over of her and her uncle in this building, and the building was, although it was officially named the Union Fishermen's Cooperative Net Loft, it was also referred to by two other names, Uppertown Station, because it was a transfer station for fish to the railroad, and locally people called it Big Red, and still have in the recent years affectionately referred to it as Big Red. Well, it turns out that Signe had fished with her uncle out of that building, and as a small girl, maybe in 7 years old, had spent time in the building and been fishing with her uncle. So she had these wonderful memories of that experience, and she threw in her influence and was really responsible for the Jefferson Airplane reunion. And we did have the original personnel that first performed at the Matrix in San Francisco, so it was fantastic. I think everybody who came just had a great time, and the musicians all were very happy and expressed, almost to a group, expressed an interest in coming back again. There were more coincidences with the Grateful Dead, and we could go on, but essentially, when bands started talking to each other, we started having a whole avalanche of groups calling and saying they'd be willing to perform for the benefit. From what I hear, and I have to make it very clear that I was a recipient, my cause has been a recipient of this effort. I wasn't involved in the organization myself. I only heard how things were going, kind of blow by blow. And certain members of the Grateful Dead, I think Mickey Hart specifically, became very interested in it because it mirrored some of their experiences in Sausalito when they were getting started. And there was apparently a helicopter port that was turned into a musician's practice space and kind of a collective creative arts space for that period of time. And a lot of these musicians have resonated with what's going on in Oregon right now and the need for artists to have space to do creative work. So there's kind of a ground swell of interest, not only from the Oregon arts community, but also from successful musicians across the United States. I mean, we got Peter Stamfel from the Holy Modal Rounders to come out, and that was another landmark reunion, getting them together again on the West Coast here. And it goes on and on. It's a Beautiful Day contacted us apparently and said they wanted to be a part of this, and so we've had tremendous support from the arts community, and specifically the music community. And it's building momentum, and we are expecting to see a lot more support, and a lot of grants writers and different people come out of the woodwork, and I think that although we didn't raise the funds we had hoped to raise, we raised the consciousness, and there is a lot more awareness in the Oregon area, but also in the Bay Area about this building and what it could mean to the arts.
So when the roof left the premises, Eddie and Royal were actually back in Eddie and his wife and friend's space. So I guess I'll take you back there next. There's actually water in there that I need to dump. I'll get it when we leave.
Okay, there's water there, so probably.
You don't want to go in that direction.
Okay, sure.
We were doing there for a second. That's what we have to do at the Saturday market too. Get the window hooked in.
Oops, I missed.
Oh, I see. You got it down a bit.
We don't have enough buckets to catch all the drips, so we just stretched a piece of plastic and and aim it at the bucket.
That's so creative. There it is. It goes right into the bucket.
Well, sometimes.
Okay. Well, a little bit got on the floor.
It's their way of collecting rainwater for reuse.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. So there we go.
There's a water shortage here anyway.
And then, after it rains, we come around and we siphon all the buckets. Okay, so this wall here has been created with found objects from the building. We can use whatever we find in the building, but we have to leave it in the building. So Eddie actually brought these and put them up. He's a master carpenter, and he lifted these beams to make this door. But that one's closed from the other side. Oh, he had so much fun just taking whatever he could find in crates. And I think he rebuilt this wall. I think he did it 4 or 5 times. He would do this incredible wall, and his wife would say, "Oh, that's so beautiful." And then, the next day he'd go home and he says, "Well, I took down the wall." And she said, "You did what?" And then he'd put it back up, and she'd say, "Oh, Eddie, that's so beautiful, that's so beautiful." And then he would take it down again, and he'd do it again. And he'd... Well, there, as I said, there's all you. Yeah. Did it? Yeah. A lot of things came with the building. So, some of the things, well, actually, that might have been Royals. I'm not sure. But the building came with an awful lot of unexpected things.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Okay,
just.
so
This was part of. This was Royals. Out of a lot of stuff got. So, after Eddie broke his wrist, they were sleeping on cots right here. They're getting the furthest away from the storm that they could get, right? And Eddie had said that the building was moving so much you couldn't walk a straight line. The whole thing was just horrible. And so they were just sort of chilling here, and I think they were able to sleep a little bit. But when the roof went, and there were people that actually saw it go, and that said that it sort of lifted, and then all this paper flew out from under it and it settled, and then from what they described, it seemed like it must have just sort of lifted and peeled off. Well, the boards, not these boards, the boards that were there.
There are boards actually on the windows themselves. It looks like it's.
Well, these are different windows.
Okay.
The boards were 20 foot long, and they were the third floor and the second floor. So when the roof left, it peeled the back wall off. So they were lying down right here, and the wall left.
Wow.
I mean, this whole wall just went away.
So this is new right here. This
Yeah, Eddie rebuilt that.
Wow.
So that trying.
This
Yeah.
has got to be the most scariest thing when your whole wall disappears. Right now, this is it here.
Yeah. Now they're trying to be able to use their studio space again, but the roof, the floor was never meant to be a roof, and it's not keeping the water out very well. So they really can't come in and use it yet. And the other side of the crates, and he's got those little brick blocks, glass blocks there.
Drawing board, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and he's so funny because since that's his space as well, which looked completely useless because the floor was completely rotted. It was just this big gaping hole that you were not too sure about how close you could get to the edge or anything, and he reclaimed it and created a space for himself. But he's got these plexiglass panels in some areas, then he's got mirrors in others, and sometimes it's hard to tell whether you're seeing a reflection or you're seeing through to the next space, and
I know,
he
I had
has
to- I
too
had to
much
look
fun.
Twice right there to
Yeah,
see if I was
he
looking
just
through
had
it or
entirely
seeing a
too much fun.
reflection. Yeah, that's good.
He's very creative. So his studio became an installation, I guess. And then he was intrigued with the frames, so he hung all these different frames, and he had one that would, when the building moved, the frame would swing, and which again, it was kind of strange, but
Very nice little structure over there too.
yeah. So yeah, he had an awful lot of fun with this.
And you say this is plexiglass, and those
Right.
just a mirror, sort of like.
Well, no, it's a clear plexiglass.
Oh,
It just
so I'm actually seeing into another spot.
yeah.
And whose spot might
That's
this be?
Eddie's spot. That's the spot he reclaimed from oblivion. It was useless.
big hole.
The space was useless. The floor was rotted out.
He completely redid it.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's an amazing
And
craftsman.
He started to lift. He's got his refrigerator there. Started.
Craftsman, and look at the wood that he used for the floor. It's all the
Well,
old
we can go in there too.
Wow.
Let's come on around.
I'm down to about my last 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. And I've got an extra tape in there too, and an extra
Okay.
battery. So.
Okay. Yeah, his studio is there, and then Lyndon and my studio are. I guess we could show you a studio that's actually usable.
Oh, sure.
Why don't we
Sure,
do
why
that?
not? Yeah.
And
Well, meander through another.
then he lost his beak in the storm. Poor thing. Watch the uneven floor.
Okay. We gotta have fire alarm. Guys, do that. Need a windstorm alarm too. Okay. Very creative here. Look at this. I like this.
Oh yeah. Well, and we had them all the way across, but then they started using them to hold down tarps upstairs. Eddie did
Okay.
this. Eddie did this. He had this sculptural effect on my wall here, and Royal would tell him, now make sure you ask the artists before you create their entry to their studios. And this is my studio. I never have quite gotten to the point. Yeah. So this is a 1,000 square foot studio. It's I could do huge things when we get a roof on so that wall doesn't get wet when it rains. Because I prefer to work across a lot of paintings simultaneously. But I never have quite totally got settled in here. When we first came in, I was working in this one little small just section here. And then another artist came. That corner had moss that thick when I first came. I know, he's going to get dizzy. And the floor was brown like the rest of it, and we weren't going to paint it, but that's another story. Anyway, that section got reclaimed, and there was another 2 artists over there, and then they moved out, and another artist came in, and he put up a wall, and suddenly it was dark. I only had one window, but then he was only dim. It was actually was Royal Sun's partner, and so they were making music during that time as well, and he was painting. And then when he left to go back to school, and we were debating about, okay, so where's my 1,000 square feet going to be? We decided we'd take down that wall, and I'd have these 2 spots instead of that space and that space, which was so wonderful. Had all the light, but I also had all the roof. If I was in that space over there, it's all soggy.
What light do you have?
That was in my old studio, and I don't think the ceiling is quite high enough to actually use it. It needs to be about 14 feet up.
Okay. It's a bright halogen.
It's a bright halogen, and it buzzes, and I really prefer to listen to the water than the light. Anyway, so I was only just getting to the point where I was settling in. We had taken the wall out. There were no walls at that time.
No, like this wall right here was.
There wasn't a wall here, and then Eddie built my wall for me, and we painted the inside, and I was just getting to the point where I was going to start organizing my space when the storm hit. Here is Royals, but I mean that's what storms and paintings don't work very well together. I mean, they just sort of...
They kind of crumble up like this,
they
and try to put them all back out.
Yeah, so it's... So, let's see. What was the name of it? I forget what I named it.
Justin right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I might have written it on the back. This is the first painting that I finished after the storm. Yeah. And no, I haven't. I'll have to figure out the name again. I think I named it Shadow Self. But it was the very first one that was finished, and took a long time to be able to really work again.
Is that a bird or a pelican over there?
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like there could be 2 people right there. Are they also birds?
Yeah. I think I settled on people in this case. I did go through different possibilities before I settled on that. I start out without knowing what it's going to be generally, and then...
Yeah, it's kind of like this film. I never knew I'd get this involved. And
here you are. Very good. So I'm ready to do a bunch of other. I'm just eager. I'm really eager.
Now this wall here is knock on wood or knock on plastic?
Both. We put the plastic up because what was happening when it rains, it puddles up there, and it was just pouring down that wall, and so we tried to make a dam along the bottom.
Oh, okay.
And then brought this down so that we could channel the water down to the first floor where all the junk is.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
we'll put
yeah.
another bucket down there.
Another bucket down there. Yeah, let's just cut a hole in the floor so it can go straight through. Anyway, when they took the ragged remains of the 3rd floor wall that was above this roof, when they took that off and then capped it with the corrugated metal, that solved some of the problems. Before we started having a problem of the rain running down the rafters and then unpredictably landing on things that we had salvaged and were dry and safe, and then they got soaked afterwards. That was very discouraging. So when they were able to do that, that alleviated most of that problem. So now we only have water that comes down the wall and not down the rafters.
I'd rather have it go down the wall because then it's going down in a small vertical plane.
Right. And so the other studio that we have, so right now I'm only working on that easel because when it rains, I don't want my paintings up there. Mm-hmm. So these are just being prepped.
So right now you can work here. It looks like you've got your brushes all laid out.
As I said, these come in real handy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, look what they're doing. Okay.
Okay, and
now we're going into.
Let's see. This is the other safe studio that's still usable. Okay. And so we come out here.
We go into the next one.
Ooh, and right. See now, this is the voting time. Whose studio is cleaner? This one, right? Anyway, so this one's 1,500 square feet. Right. And there's 2 artists in here right now that are working.
And all I did is repair boats here.
And nets.
Huh.
Oh, you came in. There were all these nets still all around.
And so they had to probably have large spaces to pull them out so they can sew them up and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe the existence purpose.
Right.
Well, even this microwave is really kind of cool and decorated too. So there's got to be a few artists that live here. Push, pull, open. There we go.
Are these pilings some of the pilings that probably Royal was talking about when he said a lot of the buildings over the years have disappeared?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Ah.
And you'd see a lot more at low tide.
You see these pilings right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for those.
Yep.
Little stumps out there.
Mm-hmm.
So many interesting possibilities and views outside these windows.
Mm-hmm. Very inspirational. It's just a wonderful place to be.
So far I've seen 2 finished studios that are still functioning, and there was more, but the storm took out a few.
Right.
So we're going to try to get back to get that upper floor going and do some renovations to make it stronger.
That's right.
And earthquake resistance and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And get more artists out here. Right.
Well, I think if they see the amount of space and they see some of the interesting things that I've seen, I think they'd be standing in line.
Yeah. There's just, the possibilities are endless.
I mean, considering that they're trying to cramp all kinds of artist lofts in Portland and old abandoned or reclaim industrial places, they actually tore down. I had a friend that had a studio, and they tore it down for the OHSU. I don't know if I better turn the camera off now. But when they were continuing on with the tour.
We're going over to Eddie's the salvaged corner here.
Okay.
That was.
I'm recording again. I've got about 1 more minute left to tape.
Oh my gosh, we've got to hurry.
We'll just change things.
So this was useless space. And he recreated, there's his potter's wheel and slab roller, and he's a very organized kind of guy, getting all of his...
Where's his potter's wheel? Over there?
Right over here. But all of this.
Get a watch for you.
And there's, remember, there it is.
There it
look
is.
At it, look,
Oh, now we can see down.
Look at the shimmering light.
Yeah, that's just skylight.
Well, floor light, I don't know.
Not skylight, floor light.
There's only a skylight if you're down there somewhere.
Yeah. And then it's a studio light because there's no sky above it.
There's his potter's wheel right over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you can look in his wife and friend's space and out at the river.
Oh, jeez, look at that.
Again, is it a mirror or is it a window?
Going on here with water and everything.
Wow. There is water out there. There's so much to see in so little time to do this.
Yeah. So wonderful spaces, just incredible spaces. So we want to get it back. We want to be working in our studios again.
Yes.
want to be creating art instead of bailing buckets.
Inspirational things that can inspire people for greater things.
Right.
Benefit humanity.
Yes.
The tools of the trade, there they are.
Here's one of those beams that they took down,
Okay.
that they carried down.
That probably goes a long ways up there. Oh,
Yeah.
Kind of a long ways over there.
People to move that.
Amazing all the things you can see in the local metro area.
See, there's some of the old nets and floats, and a friend of mine that lives down in Seaside, Bob Moberg, came in. I gave him a tour of the building, and he came across this box of wooden floats, and he picked one of the floats up, and he looked at it, and he was just standing there, and he goes, "My dad touched this," and he grew up in this area. Generations came. His uncle was one of the ones that started the different aspects of the fishing industry here, and his dad was the one that had the lathe that made all the wooden floats. And he said he made all of them, so he knew he was touching his dad's hand there, and to see that look on his face, the history, and it was so wonderful to be able to share that with him and have him have that experience.
Let's see one of those wood floats.
This store has given people so many gifts.
It has given so many gifts.
Roya was telling us about how Sydney had a photograph of herself with her uncle when she was a little girl.
Right. Now they've got some of the plastic ones in here too. Here we go. Here, there's a box of them right there.
Okay, let's see. That is actually wood, hollow?
It's a little solid piece of wood with a hole through the middle that they used for the floats on the nets. And they're the old nets too. I mean, a lot of the stuff is still here.
And that's what holds up the nets.
Yep. Then they went to plastic, and his dad lost his job. Yeah. This is something I guess they used for mending nets. This is something that's been out here too.
Hard to get a perspective of it, but it's...
Yeah.
Oh, there's another piano. Let's see if that plays.
I don't think so.
Plug it in.
Yeah. Time to come to work. I don't know.
So how many people were here at this facility?
After the storm and with Christmas coming, to say we're still out here, Eddie put up the Christmas lights. So from the shore we had Christmas lights out and a wreath, and we're still here, we're still surviving. I must admit though, I always felt somewhat smug as I walked to my gate, either walked out or walked in, and there was someone walking down the river walk. I've got a key. Then after the storm, and I'm still coming out, knowing that there were some people thinking, whoever was out there was a fool. My ego got its little, okay, enough pride. Okay, maybe. And then I was walking out one day, and my mind was just imagining things, and of course the roof was gone. And as I'm walking the 100 yards, I'm thinking, each time I come through that gate, a little bit more was going to be gone, and a little bit more was going to be gone, and a little bit more, until finally nothing was left except the few feet that I was standing on. And that was an amazing thing to consider, that it really doesn't matter what's out there. What matters is where I'm at, right in that moment. And it was okay. And being where you're at. And I'm here right now, and so this is what's important, and this is what I do, and this is where I work. And when we walk out, I'll be out there, and that's where I am, and that's what I do, and that's what's important. And to be conscious of that, to be in that moment. I think that's why I like being out here, though, because when I paint and I'm out here, somehow all the distractions are over there. I've locked them out. They're on the shore. and I can be out here and I can be in that moment, and it's so, so much easier to have a space like that you can go to. And through my paintings, whatever else I do, I can bring that sense to whoever views the paintings, and we can repair this building, and we can bring people out here and so they can experience it for themselves directly. There's our radio tower.
Where's that?
It's what we walk on. It's a radio tower on its side.
So this is a radio tower.
This is a radio tower.
So this has been reclaimed.
Mm-hmm. From I don't know what.
Repurposed.
Yeah. And actually during the storm, when Eddie and Royal were ready to come out, the wind had actually blown, I guess, 2/3 of those planks.
2/3 of it
were blown over, rolled over to the east side, the left side of that. And so they had only 2 or 3 planks that they could crawl out on, actually.
That's Gordo's guitar shop. And
yeah.
That kind of looked to me at first like a railroad station, but I've heard that
that was, that bit of wall there was in the old studio, and Jeff Wyman, a painter and a sculptor, worked in metal and steel that he would reclaim. And I always thought of steel sculpture as being cold and impersonal, but he had such a passion, and he talked about the steel that had been worked and used in various ways by men in the fishing industry or in the building industry out here that he was reclaiming, and he could cut it and bend it and twist it and weld it, and he spoke of it as having its own life. And now I look at metal sculpture a lot differently because of his passion. And that was brought over from that old building. He had it had this whole, right now it's the Bridgewater restaurant, and where he did all his sculpture, it's now a place where everybody's eating.
And that's the other gallery that you were talking about.
Or the other studio, it's under the bridge, yeah.
Which I could not see through my viewfinder.
Right, no, you couldn't see it.
But at least we get to see a little piece of it right here.
Yeah, it got brought with us.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure where it is, but there's also Royal's door to his studio from the old building is somewhere in here.
Okay.
Some more nets. Lots more nets. Holes in the floor.
There's some nets right there.
Yep.
Definitely
watch the.
Watch the hole.
That's a good
Bye-bye.
hole. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Intense light.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad I didn't really need to bring a light in here just for a few moments. I like natural light.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. No, it's not shooting up quite like the light through the doorway. So I don't know what the conditions are that make that glow, or it's
not here though.
It's not here yet.
You can really see it pretty good. There's a little bit right there.
There's a little bit, but I'm not. It's just got to be the right angle. You can see a little bit. You see, doesn't that look like barcode stuff zinging up there?
I see what you're saying. I couldn't visualize the barcode when you were talking about it before.
Oh, barcode?
Yeah. This is a natural version
natural
of the
electronic version of barcode. Okay, all you supermarket shoppers, there it is. We're being watched. We're being tracked. It's that tracking code.
Yeah, shooting up from the water.
Takes us all by surprise. Mother Nature just, look at that. Oh, I can stare at this.
That's the show that inspired Gary Doing in the beginning.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
And sometimes it's even more contrasty. And look at the ceiling. Look up there. Yes, you see all these little holes right here.
Wow. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
There's barcodes forever.
Well, these are, I mean,
Just comes from little holes in the floor.
now you've got a piece of wood jutting out ready to grab you and knock you over. And look at the green now. Look how bright that is.
Oh, I feel like I've got a swimming pool right there.
Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
And all those dancing lights everywhere you look.
Mm-hmm.
See it now.
Mm-hmm.
And here we thought the ocean was ugly colors, but that is...
Isn't that green pretty? I didn't think that. Who was it? Who have you been talking to?
Oh!
My
conscience, my conscience.
Let's see if that. Let's see. Yeah, all these openings. So, part of me really doesn't want to see everything closed up here, because if we close everything up, you're not going to see all this dancing light.
Yeah.
So we've got to figure out how to do both together.
Structure sound.
And okay, it's glowing a little bit more than when we first came out. But the dancing light, yeah, it's really amazing. And I love the sound.
Look at those sparkles. I mean, I don't need a light filter for this. Look at that. I mean, this is...
I imagine the different level, whether it's low tide or high tide, also affects how much light shimmers through. So that could be part of
That makes sense.
what's happening.
And you may never see that, what you saw again. It may never be just
In the
the
right time, the right combination of event. Yeah.
It may have just been a gift for that moment.
So the concert for Big Red was just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Just the beginning. Right. And the wind was coming out of the northwest, and you could hear it coming. It came as it sounded like a freight train, and when I'd hear it coming, and I just grab hold, and I'd hold on until it passed, and then after it passed, I'd walk further, and then I'd hear it coming, and I'd stop and hold on. Got to the other end of the planks and called Sarah, and she said, "That took you a long time to get across." So I said, well, I made it fine. I had to stop a few times.
A radio tower, no less.
A radio tower. Now, I'm pretty okay. I'm only 5'3". Taller guys have a problem. I have a friend who's 6'4.5", and he was ducking, and he told Royal that, hey, if you have any Wilt Chamberlain come out to buy a painting, you're going to have to change this or something, or some of those.
We'll get a motorized wheelchair. That'll work.
Somewhere in there's an old golf cart, but it's so inaccessible with all the junk around it. I don't know how you'd get it out.
It is actually getting bigger.
Oh, when it's foggy and you're walking through and you're just in this bubble of light, it's pretty special too. Keeper of the keys. No, I always hold on to these keys really tight and my cell phone, because when that door was repaired, you'd lock that door and you'd be on that catwalk. If I drop my keys in the water, there's no way to get back in the building or out on this side. That would not be a good thing. Well, it's kind of designed to not be very easy to climb over. Yeah. So I really hold on to my keys. Yeah, and of course that would be when you would lose your keys, right? Are you tied up back there? Okay, you're going to give me enough rope to hang myself or something, huh? Here's some more blackberries. Don't forget to get some more blackberries. I think those are riper over there. Look at those, yum. Find one that's... Is it hard to tell when you're... There you go.
Okay, there's one.
There you go.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
bigger than that. So,
So where did you come from to get out here?
Oh,
How did you...
how do we get out?
Yeah.
We get out this way.
All right. Untold Glass. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
That small door.
There's the little
There's
door.
the door.
There's the rabbit hole. Back into reality, right?
Yeah. Oh no, we're going back into reality. Oh, I'm sad. I'm sad. Very sad about doing this.